Okay, so I skipped through, there was nothing particularly life-changing in the rest of the video. And then we're gonna move on to a live stream she did saying, I just need a friend. Now, this live stream was post-binge and was uploaded, I'm not exactly sure the time, a few hours later. Let me check for you. I'm pretty sure it was oh, it won't be online. She didn't upload this live stream onto her channel, despite the fact that she uploads other live streams to her channel, I'm guessing because she didn't want the accountability. But it was uploaded a few hours later, I believe. It was nighttime for me, so it wasn't that long after. And this was called I Just Need a Friend. Like I said, I've edited this down so that it just goes through the important things. Now, sometimes she'll start to say something and then she'll go to say hi to a subscriber or do whatever. So if some of the sentences seem disjointed, that's why. I haven't cut out any pertinent information, just stuff like talking about the cats or talking about something else that wasn't related, or saying hi and thank you for the super chat and things like that.
So I just feel really down. I just feel really down because I feel like despite the crazy videos I put out, I just feel like nobody really knows what's going on inside my head, which I guess we can't really fully know what's going on with somebody, but it's just like, I feel like I have multiple sides that are just fighting with each other, you know? I just had a pretty big binge episode. I don't film that.
So this was after she'd eaten the Taco Bell, and she's had time to go and get this food, to eat it, and then to start this live stream. Yeah?
If I was monetizing anything, I would film that, right? Because I could probably get good video out of it, but no, I don't. Because that does feel slimy, videoing that when I'm feeling that way. But,
I should point out at this point, when she goes, oh, videoing that would be slimy, I'm guessing because that the crap she gets for monetizing addiction. But her live stream, this whole live stream is about her binge and the fact she needs to talk to someone and things like that. She gets super chats throughout this live stream. So because it's not a video and it's not AdSense, she's not counting it as earnings. But she gets super chats throughout this video. It's the same thing. She's still getting money for it.
I ordered McDonald's. I was supposed to stop eating a long time ago. This is
a long time ago. It wasn't that long.
I ate like 3 cups of McDonald's mac sauce.
Oh, just by itself? That, I mean, that sounds like whatever else she ate. She like ate that with a spoon. No. I am going to figure out, she does, I've seen this before, but I was cutting in whatever. I am going to figure out what she ate and how many calories it was.
Just the sauce. I'm so embarrassed. Like, who does that? Seriously.
Embarrassed
I don't
enough,
feel like talking to...
But she puts it online, so embarrassed enough to earn money off of it.
To like my real friends about this stuff, because I know they're there for me, but I feel embarrassed talking about it to them.
I'm your real
So
friend.
it's like one of the mac sauce. You know how they have like little pickles in it? I don't know what help to get. That's the thing. Like, I just feel like I don't know what to do, because I feel like, and a part of me feels like it's food, you know, like.
Sorry, I know this is jumping a lot. She was responding to people in the chat saying, like, go to a doctor, get help. And so then she'll get distracted by someone saying hi. That's why it's so choppy.
Who is addicted to food? Like, who does that? Like,
many
it's food.
people.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, I'm just so tired. I'm just tired. Maybe I guess a lot of you are addicted to food too, right? I hate about my personality when I'm like, when I have something in my head, I don't want to listen to anybody. It's like, I'm so stubborn. I just think.
But she did say in the last video we just watched that she wanted accountability. But she does admit, as she says that, she doesn't actually want it. She just wants to say she wants it. She places a lot with her audience, saying, well, I have to eat mukbangs because part of my audience want it. And then when she fails on a diet, it's like, oh, well, you know, I wanted accountability that I didn't actually want. This right here, these kind of videos, these reactions, That's a kind of accountability, and she doesn't want it at all.
I think I'm always right, you know? It's just like so annoying. I just feel like that's maybe why I'm on here, because I know a lot of people do understand what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are critics. And I just hate hearing it. Sometimes I just hate that people are so like involved in my life.
I mean, you do that to yourself. It's a public channel. Everybody in the world does not YouTube. You don't have to YouTube. You don't want people involved to come out of it. But you've said yourself you earn your money this way. So you kind of have to get over it. That's a part, that is the part of how you earn your money. And you can always go get a different job, but you're now at the point where you can't really do that. So it is what it is.
But then like people in my real life really have no fucking clue what I'm going through. And it just like, you know, like I could tell by the way I talk to them. Like if I tell them what I binged on in a day, like I remember my mom asking once, like, what is a binge? Like, what do you eat? And I told her and she just looked like horrified. Like, I didn't know it was that bad.
See, I find that very interesting because there are times when you just binge and it's a surprise, like it's a response to something emotional. It's something you didn't plan. But planned binges are a thing, and they usually have a very precise routine. You have certain binge foods, like she has fast food and she goes driving to get it. That's a planned binge. That's a routine you go through and a ritualization of it. And when she talks to an outsider, because her mom's an outsider in this, and she's like, I didn't realize it was that bad. Because she can dismiss what we say. She can say, well, you're a hater, I don't care. You don't understand, even though I genuinely do understand. She can dismiss her online life as critics. She can't dismiss her mom in the same way. She can say you don't understand, but seeing like the shock and the horror of someone who, if she honestly shared a binge with her or shared what she's eaten, is more shocking to her because they've got no reason to fake that response.
Like I don't, like they don't understand, you know? I don't know how to explain. Anyway, your problems are worse. I know, I sound self-absorbed sitting here crying about eating Big Mac sauce, but like, and I know there's people who have bigger problems, but that doesn't erase the problems I have as well. You know what
I'm actually with her on this. I think it was kind of a dick comment. Someone wrote in her chat, oh, I have something along the lines of, my problems are bigger. And I'm like, your problems are valid to you. So, okay, there are plenty of people out there who have bigger problems than Chantal. But for her, her problems are ruining her life. Now, a lot of her problems are a choice, but she's not choosing to go and get help. And when I say a choice, I do realize like disordered eating isn't necessarily something you choose, but your reaction to it is something she is choosing. You know, I don't think that it was valid to be like, well, people have it worse. And I think that's true. I get that comment from, we were talking in my teachers group and one of the teachers were like, well, be thankful for what you have. And yes, to an extent, I was very lucky during this lockdown that I didn't lose my job. I still had money coming in. I'll still get paid my salary. And a lot of people are in a much worse position. But it's not about who's got it worse in life. It's about what's affecting your life. This is a personal channel. And she's really facing challenges right now. So I don't think it's a valid comment to be like, people have it worse. Well, people aren't living my life. I'm living my life. And she's living her life.
So that I have to live with every day. So for McDonald's, I had this food diary where I was writing out.
I want to figure out.
I'm gonna do mukbang.
What she ate. Hang on.
You know.
1 second. Sorry guys, I just wanted to get a paper. I'm gonna figure out what it ended up being and what the calories were.
I'm going to just ignore my problems and do mukbangs. It's more fun. Honestly, so what I had was, to answer your question, I wrote down my meal. The Taco Bell, I think, had a total of like 1,900 calories, which is a lot.
She doesn't go through what was in a Taco Bell meal, so I'm just going to take 1,900 as that calorie count. I can't be bothered to look it up. Sorry about the call to prayer. It's 5 times a day. It's hard to avoid.
And I was like, that's okay. So then I'm like, oh, I still have room for... I went to Dairy Queen and I got a mini Oreo cheesecake blizzard. And then I was...
Okay, so here's the thing as well. Like, at the end of that Taco Bell, she was very, again, defiant and like, I can do this. And people might think I'm crazy, but I'm fine. And I'm assuming the only thing she could do in that case was to say, I'm going to eat my mukbang and not eat anything else that day. So then, for dessert, like minutes after she's finished eating, she's then saying, well, I'll have a mini blizzard. I don't know how much a mini blizzard is. I'm gonna look it up, okay? I'm looking on the Canadian sites because sometimes it can be different depending. Chocolate chip cookie dough mini, 420 calories.
Like, okay, I felt still hungry, so I know when I have that still hungry feeling, I just feel like my body's still like eating some of my fat because I feel hungry, so I'll be okay if I intermittent.
I don't understand her reasoning there. Like, genuinely, she doesn't understand how the body works. She's saying I'm still hungry, so my body must be eating my fat. No. Let me give like a quick primer on, sorry to spurg about this, a quick primer on how the body works. Yeah? The reason you feel hungry and the reason the food is not satisfying you and blah, blah, blah. So when you eat food that your body can use, whole foods, things like that, your body uses them. You eat them, your body processes them, and it uses the nutrients it needs, it gets rid of the nutrients it doesn't. If you overeat, if you eat calories it can't use, it stores it as fat. But the point of healthy food being healthy, it's because it contains things that the body can break down slowly. It stays with you for longer, it can slowly break it down. When you eat things like DQ, like Taco Bell, like processed foods, below the neck, salt or sugar, it all turns into a simple starch, yeah? It's all very difficult. It hits the body fast and it's very difficult for the body to use. Thing is, the body is designed to survive, and it's only been in very recent history we've had such abundance available. So it will not let go of food. It will not let go of energy that it might need to not starve later, despite the size of you. So when you give it food it can't use, and it's freaking out because the sugar in the body is getting so high, because starch or sugar, it's turning into a simple sugar in your body, it goes, holy crap guys, I can't deal with this, help me. Call in the cavalry. And the cavalry in this case is your pancreas and your insulin response, because the point of insulin is that it insulin converts simple sugars into fat, and then fat can be stored for energy later. So it can't use what you're putting into it, which is how you get people who are obese but malnutritioned, yeah? Which isn't your case because, you know, she takes so many vitamins. But your body can't use it, so it turns it straight to fat instead of processing it as energy, because it's overwhelmed your bodily systems. So it goes, okay, store it as fat, done. So you're hungry because the food you're eating does that response in your brain where it's saying eat more, eat more, eat more, eat more. And after the initial fullness is over, it doesn't have much that's usable. And that's your problem. So interpreting that as, oh, I should go and eat Dairy Queen, is not going to be helpful.
Fast or whatever. So then I just like, I don't know, I just
had a binge.
I ordered McDonald's.
So I
had 2 cheeseburgers.
Jesus. Why 2 cheeseburgers? I'm gonna, hang on, let me get this list.
3 Big Mac sauce, large fry, a McChicken,
large fry,
and a root beer.
Jesus, that's a lot of food. I mean, I know it's a binge, but she just had the Taco Bell, she went for dessert, and then she ordered McDonald's. All right, guys, give me a second. I'm just gonna figure this out. I'm guessing if she had a McChicken sandwich, a large fry, and a root beer, that was a meal. And then the cheeseburgers and the Big Mac sauce were on the side. They don't serve Big Mac sauce as a sauce in England. Is that just something they do in Canada? Do they do that in America as well? I don't know. I'm gonna put it into their calculator. Okay guys, I've just done a quick calculation. The nutritional calculator on the McDonald's calendar site is excellent. So for what she ordered from McDonald's, it was 1,930 calories and 2,540 milligrams of soda. That was 106% of her daily allowance. That's not counting the fact that she's also had 1,900 calories of Taco Bell and 420 calories DQ mini Oreo cheesecake blizzard. So that's a total of 4,250 calories in the space of a few hours. Because if it's a binge, then she had the DQ dessert after her Taco Bell. She decided she wasn't satisfied. And once she'd started that, binges move quite quickly. She would have ordered the food fairly quickly afterwards. She wouldn't have waited and gone back to it. So that's very concerning. That's a lot of food in a short space of time.
So it's not that bad, like compared to some I've had before. I've eaten a lot more, but I'm coming on here.
Sorry, that took me a second to take in. Yeah, I'm sure she's had worse binges, but to say it's not that bad, that's pretty bad. That is a lot of food in a short space of time, and she knows it because she looks and feels like this.
I don't want to eat anything else because I have a lot of stuff in the food I could probably binge on. I have a lot of food in the fridge I could eat, but no, I'm full.
Oh, when she said, I don't want to eat, so I've come online, I assumed she meant she was so overly full she couldn't stand to eat. But no, she's still thinking about food. She's still like, oh no, there's food in the fridge. And actually, I cut it out because of the last video going so long. But at the end, after she finished the Taco Bell, she was like, oh, I've been craving Italian food. I might make a chicken and shrimp Alfredo. She was still thinking of food at that point, at the end of that meal.
Anyways, I think I'm afraid of the depression. Like, I don't know if any of you like are addicts. Probably a lot of you are. But you know that feeling whenever, I think a part of me is scared that I just like, my whole YouTube career will go down the shitter and I'll just get like 1,000 views per video.
Likely her views would go down if she wasn't mukbanging because the mukbang crowd would leave her. But if she were actually doing what it is she said she's going to do, weight loss channels get a lot of views, especially when you're going for an extreme weight, and 400 pounds is quite an extreme weight, down to whatever it is she wants to get to. Like, she could build another audience if she had the consistency to do so, because she's already got part of her audience from that. That's why I'm here.
If I just don't eat something for you guys. But then I always tell myself, no, that's stupid to like, you know, put your health in jeopardy for views. Like, so that...
She doesn't always tell herself that. Can we please be clear? In moments when she realizes what she's doing to herself, she might say that to herself, but she's not sitting here going, no, because she's not healthy on camera. So it's ridiculous to jeopardize my health with views, as she's literally sitting here having binged and having just done a taco mukbang.
That just goes away. I really just film what I'm feeling at the time, like I'm doing, but my channel will suffer. Well, I don't know. People do watch my other videos too, you know, so it's not just that. If
you made it your content, people would watch it, but there would be an in-between, and especially because she goes back and forth so much, there would be an in-between where she'd have to build both more viewership and more trust with her viewership, and she could only do that with consistency, which is the one thing she can't do.
It's just like, I'm an addict, Chantal, and the depression. Yeah, the depression, King Lazy. Like, when you first quit, that's why I only make it like 2 days, because after that, I get so depressed and like...
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, like, when I'm like, no, you should just do this, she's facing a massively big journey. Like, I lost less weight than she needs to, and I did it with weight loss surgery. Now, that's not to excuse the work that's required with weight loss surgery. It doesn't lose the weight for you. You still have to follow the rules. And it's hard to do, and especially because food is her whole life. I've said before, she's got no other interests around food. She's got, I mean, she says, oh, I love the ads and the thing. No, that's just her building a hobby around food to excuse it. She's never mentioned that interest before, and she likely won't again for a while. So she's not replacing it with anything. And so the thought of losing that in her life, that completely empties her life. Like, she needs something else to live for.
Empty feeling, and like, and when you're already depressed, it's like, I can't afford any more depression. It's just like, I'm afraid of how dark it will get for me, you know? So, and I just feel like, I don't like opening up in therapy. I don't like that feeling either.
Again, nobody, like, she talks a lot about how she doesn't like to do certain things. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. You do it because ultimately it's good for you, and ultimately you will feel better. Nobody likes giving up the food that they want to force in their mouth, but after doing it for a while, you realize that how you feel off it is better than how you feel on it. And that is a process. Therapy is not fun. It's hard, but it achieves something. Exercise is not fun. And you guys, I'm dressed for the gym right now because the only way I force myself to go is to get up and get dressed and get ready. Because I can't go straight away because it's 100 and however many degrees outside and I have to go to the outdoor gym, so I have to wait until the sun goes down, which isn't for a while. It's currently like 20 to 1 in the afternoon. So at 5:36, when it starts to get cooler, it's still 90 to 100 degrees outside, but I go. But I have to prepare myself mentally for that. I make excuses all day as to why I don't want to. But I went back to the gym, one, because I was getting fatter, because high lockdown was still going on here in Saudi at least. And two, because mentally I was in a bit of a hole. And the moment I started exercising again, that was better. I feel better after I've done it, but I don't enjoy doing it.
You know how you feel like naked, but like,
yeah,
I don't know how to explain it.
Vulnerable is how you explain it. And it's a vulnerable process. And you do things that make it worse for yourself, like doing it on YouTube, not because you can't do that. Some people find a lot of energy from doing it on YouTube. I myself had a weight loss channel, but you are incredibly thin-skinned. She is an incredibly thin-skinned person, and at some point you have to be able to take the response to having it on a public platform.
Oh my God, Sam, hold on. Have you not been watching my videos?
Nice attitude to like someone in a live stream. What doctor have you seen? No, before sitting down, she didn't sit and watch back through all your videos, half of which you've privatized or deleted, to know your entire history.
I'm seeing a doctor at an eating disorder clinic.
When you say seeing, you saw him and you've criticized him. When was the last time you saw him? And
the problem is,
you didn't follow his plan.
Like, I go there, like I say, he forgets who I am every time. I feel judged that I'm overweight, because like his program is mostly for like anorexia.
That I'm sure is true, like when he deals with the opposite problem a lot. But she's bringing a lot of her own mental issues into that, saying, I feel judged because you look at skinny people. No, he looks at people that are at an unhealthy weight. And yes, it's a different process, whether you're on this end or whether you're on this end. But the judgment you feel, part of his job is to assess you. So it's impossible to avoid him looking at what you eat. But ultimately, there are doctors that are not supportive at all when it comes to obesity, because even within the medical field, there are a huge amount of doctors that just look at it and say, well, this is clearly your fault. What the fuck do you want? And I found that as being an overweight person, going to see doctors about it before as well. There is a big range of response in doctors when you go for help with any obesity-related disorder. But she wasn't following the rules. Like, he just said, don't eat in your car, and then she went and binged in her car. And he gave her a plan. She's saying she's tired and she doesn't want to think about it. He gave her a plan to follow. If you follow a plan, you don't need to think about it. And she still just didn't do it. She exhausts herself.
You like, even on the hospitalization form, you have to be like nearly dead, like from under eating and like severe like.
For emergency hospitalization, yes. Inpatient treatment can do a certain amount, but ultimately you need to figure out things that you can live with, because yours is going to be a lifelong struggle.
They want to know your potassium levels. They want to know this. They want to know. There's nothing on there for obesity. There's nothing. There's nothing. I've tried. Unless you want to pay like 11 grand up front, which I don't have, because I've spent a lot of my money on food. Sadly, that's just how it is. And like, you know what I mean? So it's just like,
at this point, if she had 11 grand, I'd be like, go get weight loss surgery. Go do it. It's not easy. Like, in America, it's different because you have all the insurance to go through. I don't know if Canada would give her the weight loss as part of the health service, because it is a health issue. Go get it done privately, man. I flew to Prague and got mine done because I work abroad and I couldn't afford to be in one place for as long as being on the NHS program would have been. And that's assuming they even gave it to me, which there's a tier system, and sometimes people get to it and they say, oh, well, you lost weight on this program, which we told you had to do to prepare for the weight loss surgery, so we're not going to give it to you because clearly you don't need it. And so I just decided to go private. She could do that. How compliant she would be, I don't know. I was able to stay on the diet after I had the surgery in a way that I simply couldn't have before. So I don't know how compliant she would be, but she could surprise you. But I do genuinely think without surgical intervention, she will never lose this weight. I think she needs it.
I just wanted to vent, that's all. Yeah, Tina, but like, you know what? I'm like with COVID and everything, probably putting all that on the back burner, right? Reprogram your way of thinking, you have to force yourself.
Yeah. That's a response. Like, you do need to make changes, and that's what she's railing against. That's what she's struggling with. There is no way to have it all. And she put a comment on either this video or the one before, maybe, on when she was still defiant, like, I won't gain a pound. How the mighty fall. I won't gain a pound. When she was like, I will have my cake and eat it too. No, you won't.
I tried these in front of the general hospital for a little bit. Dr. Basetta, but they made me feel like a criminal and a bad person. Yeah, there you go, Shannon. It's like, you know what I mean?
I mean, one experience is not every experience, but some doctors are dicks about it. Go find a different doctor.
Not always the answer. Yeah. But you're glad you did it, right?
She's talking right now to a subscriber who had weight loss surgery and lost their weight. Like, like I said, she's at the weight where I don't believe, even if she could change her thinking, which surgery helps, it really does. You feel a lot more hopeful. Even if she could, I don't know if she would with surgery, but I don't believe she'll ever get down to a healthy weight without it.
Dr. Nassif, who's that? Hey, if you guys want to help me, yeah, and you find anything.
She's too lazy to do her own research. Send it to her.
That's not an arm and a leg. Because I had a binge, Tina, and I thought I was doing so well, you know.
How, though? How did you think you were doing so well? Because you made the decision to OMAD, but not OMAD?
For like a day. Hi, Sabina.
But at this point, she didn't even make it a day. She made it a meal, and that meal was Taco Bell.
Just to get through a whole day without binge eating is like insurmountable. Like it might not sound like a lot to some people, but for me, it's just like.
There are days when that feels impossible, but at some point something has to break, and at this rate, what breaks is going to be you.
Now I don't want to eat. Like, I'm sick of food. I just want to eliminate it from my life and just like not eat for a long time. And you know what? I probably could do that.
And that's the binge response. You ate until you felt sick, until you felt terrible, emotionally and physically, and then you won't eat for a while, and then tomorrow morning you'll wake up and do this again.
The problem with Vyvanse, the taco binge, no, I just had McDonald's on top of that and Dairy Queen. So the problem with Vyvanse is it felt like I did a whole bunch of cocaine. And I felt great when I was like high.
Vyvanse is a weight loss medicine, yeah.
Because you didn't eat the whole day, you're starving, like you're hungry, you know? I hate that feeling when you're like antsy and like everything is like, I don't like that feeling, oh God. I think it's like meth. I don't know. Yeah, I would, Amy. I definitely would if I could find the right kind of help. I mean, I like to think.
And there's another excuse. Well, if I had the right kind of help, I'd be able to do this. Well, you haven't been compliant with anything else. Why would somebody else being there help you? You don't like feedback. You don't like accountability. You just have a tantrum.
I would. I don't even know if I trust myself anymore, though, honestly, but I know I have to, but I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know what triggers my binges. when I would go back and be like, I don't think...
You don't know what triggers your binges? Honey, watch your videos. We know very clearly what triggers your binges.
The Vyvanse is really good for me. He'd be like, I want to give you a stronger dose, or I'll take it 2 times a day, so that you're like perpetually high, I guess. I don't know. I know.
How is being perpetually high on that different from being perpetually high on weed, which you have been for a few weeks now?
He was just trying to help, but like...
At least that doesn't give you the munchies.
Yeah,
weed does.
I just felt like he didn't get it. Oh man, well that's what I was trying to do, but I was gonna have some... I haven't had any of THC in a while, and just to help...
To be clear, you haven't had THC in a while. Yes, you have, dear. You've been high for a while now. And like I said, how is that different from being high from the weight loss medicine, other than the fact that THC gives you the munchies?
To calm my anxiety, I was going to have some. It might take a while though, but I'm going to have a bit. But it does give you munchies, so...
Yeah, so may as well be on the weight loss medicine.
Right now. Reset yourself and start tomorrow. I start every day. It's so freaking tiring. I'm gonna take some. Just give me a minute.
Until you eliminate the
I don't do it like every day, like
matter.
all day, you know. But never-ending cycle of I'll start again tomorrow. Yeah, I know. But how do we break it and stuff? Starting over every day.
You break it by changing your behavior, by recognizing at some point one of these bottoms has to be your rock bottom, and recognizing how crazy it is to do the same thing again and again and expect a different response. That's where I got to with my weight loss surgery. I just wanted off the hamster wheel of being in this kind of cycle. And I realized I had been trying to, like, my first diet I remember being on was at age 10. And I had my surgery at age 32. And I'm like, if I had been trying for over 20 years by myself to lose weight and I hadn't managed it, let's assume that I wasn't going to manage it. And what could I do that was different? Because the same things weren't working. And that's why I went for weight loss surgery.
It's better than giving up altogether. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Food addiction.
Super chats.
Addictions. Yeah. You have to eat.
See, she uses this as an excuse a lot. Oh, well, you have to eat. Well, alcoholics have to drink. They don't have to drink alcohol, although, you know, they're addicted. You think they don't drink a Coke and think, oh, I wish this was a rum and Coke? They don't drink water. They don't have to see alcohol advertisements around. I mean, I'm not sure what the rules are like in Canada, but in England, they can be like wine and beer and Baileys and things like that. They're all advertised on TV and in magazines. Alcoholics have to drink, but they can't drink alcohol. Food addicts have to eat, but they can't eat the food that they can't eat fast food, in your case. It's not different.
Sometimes I don't know what is like genuine concern and what is belittling, you know? Sometimes I just don't want to hear it.
If you can't tell, what's the problem? It's going to do the same thing then, surely.
You know? Because, like, you like to think you have control of your life and, like, you know what's good for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you don't. Hardcore, you don't.
I'm not having this. Why am I drinking this crap? Oh, this bottle. It's heavy.
I included that because she shills that bottle so much and then she's like, oh, it's heavy. Yeah, how can you use it?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so friggin', like, of all things to be addicted to, it's like food, you know?
Food is a difficult one because it is so socially acceptable. It's so integrated into so many events in life. So yes, I'm not saying that there are any easy addictions, but there are easier ones to avoid than food, for sure.
It's like food. It's something you need to live. And then it's like...
But you said, like, the pizza you made from the almond flour and coconut that you didn't particularly like, you said you weren't going to binge on it. It's fast food that you're addicted to, and that is something you can remove.
There's addictive food? What the fuck, you know? I think it's fast food addiction, because there's like... That's a good idea. The thing with me is, sadly, like, I have trouble coming to the realization that if food is a drug for me, then I have to completely abstain.
And that is that, unfortunately. So she knows this. In her clearer moments, post-binge, I told you the next time she had a big binge, she'd have this post-binge haze lifted and this realization. Fast food is her drug and she has to abstain. And for all her backflips, for all her plans, for all her sense of you think she's outsmarting something. No, well, I can have my cake and eat it too. No, the point of having cake and eating it is that once you've consumed it, you don't have it. Yeah? So she knows that the only way she can move forward with any progress is to not have the fast food. She doesn't have control over it ever. And she still won't do it. She'll still wander around saying, I'm exhausted and I don't know what to do. Give up the fast food is the only answer. And that's why she's exhausted, because running around trying to get around that fact is exhausting her.
Because it's like when I eat it, I just want more and more and more and more, you know? It's like a part of me just wants to say F it, and like, honest to God, this sounds so morbid. This part of me doesn't care if I die at 60, as long as I'm loving just eating. Just want to eat myself into a...
And as fucked up as that does sound, I understand that as a response. When you're exhausted by everything, you just want to be like, just shut up and let me eat and I'll deal with the consequences. But you're greatly overestimating how much time you've got there. And again, this is morbid, I'm very sorry. But you think 60? I'll die at 60 and that'll be early? No. You're not even 40. We are the same age within a few months. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of me when I'm heavier. And if I can, I'll put it here. But if not, then so be it. Being fat ages you in every possible way. I looked older overweight than I do now. My body was dealing with more as an overweight person than it deals with now. You think you're going to die at 60 eating this way? Honey, you're going to die at 40 eating this way. We're not talking about some vague time in the future. We're talking about now. You're 36. I'm 37 now. We're within a few months of each other. But you're talking about a matter of years, single digit, not double. We're not talking about some time in the future when you're kind of old but kind of not. Talking about 40.
Oblivion. And then there's, I'd probably say a bigger part of me that wants to know what the heck it feels like to be like 100% so healthy and...
Feels amazing. I'm not 100% healthy anymore. I gained weight. And I did, and I'm working on it, but my quality of life now is so much better. And it's so hard to imagine because I'd never been a normal weight before this, and she's never been a normal weight. And so trying to realize what it's like to not have some of the issues, or realizing that things were issues and you haven't had to think about them for a while, it's insane.
Fully healthy and like a new me, you know? But like food is like everywhere, you know? Can't go out to restaurants with your friends and have...
I mean, to be fair, if you're going to restaurants, there will naturally be food there. But you can. She's about to say something about appetizers.
Like an appetizer, because it's like normal people can, you know? But for me, it's like, if somebody orders zucchini sticks, it's like, you know, it's like, it's so, oh my God.
She never explains herself. She's basically saying, well, it wouldn't be enough. And that is the change she has to make. To not think, every meal doesn't have to be a binge. And there has to be some kind of proportion in her food, and it's incredibly hard to get. And I imagine being a mukbanger only makes that harder. And the fact that you lose all proportion with food, which you are inclined to do anyway as a binger.
It's almost like I'm still realizing that I have major issues with food.
You're not still realizing it. You're just still trying to wriggle out of it.
It's almost like I can't see it.
You can see it. You've just explained it to us. Not wanting to accept the answer and not having the answer are two entirely different things. You are fighting the truth, but you're aware of the truth.
You know? But you keep your weight in check. Like, do you work out? Like...
Oh, she's talking to Stephen Sushi at this point. He showed up in her chat. And like I'm sure he exercises with his girlfriend, doesn't he?
That's another thing. I hate working out.
Yeah, you hate it. Sometimes you have to do the things you hate because they're good for you. Welcome to adulthood.
The problem is it's just like, I don't know.
You do know. That's you say I don't know because you're about to say I don't want to do the things I don't like to do, and you realise that's not going to sound good, so you just say, oh, I don't know.
The bigger I get, the harder it is to just breathe.
That's absolutely true.
That like scares me, you know? Yeah.
But doesn't scare you enough to do something about it. When she went for her walk and her breathing was really bad, she had at least gone for that short walk. And she said then, unfortunately, the only way to get better at it is to do it. And so she knows the truth and she doesn't want to.
Yeah, it's only, like, certain food is addictive.
Yeah, fast food.
But it's like, it's almost like I have a combination of food addiction and binge eating disorder.
What do you mean it's almost like? You have outright told us many times you have a combination of these things. Yes, you have a combination of those things. You're addicted to food and that makes you binge sometimes. It's an emotional response and it's a physical response. They're connected.
Because like binging, sometimes like a binge urge, I'll just eat like whatever I have. Like condiments even. It's like really fucked.
I mean, to be fair, all her sauces, that sounds terrible, but she's a case of I'll eat anything. She's always been big on sauces. That's just one of her things and it's part of her fast food. So to say I got down to the condiments are one of her food of choice.
I don't even know how to eat. Like, I don't know what to eat. Like, I swear. I'm afraid to eat anything because like...
She sounds like such a child here. I don't know what to do anything. Pick one and stick to whatever it tells you to do. I don't know what to do because I'm combining 1,000 things because I'm trying to include junk food. No. Pick one, follow the instructions. That's what you do.
Like, you know, like vegans will tell you meat is cruel and it causes cancer. Then keto people will tell you, you know, high fat. Some people it's like high protein. It's like I just don't even know how to eat anymore. Like I don't know what to do with my food.
Eat any way you like within the confines of the diet. Pick foods that you like that aren't fast food. This is why I said keto. Keto is difficult because keto is so extreme, but it would include a lot of the foods that she actually likes. But with her issues of kind of proportion, she'd have to keep an eye on it. There's no easy choice. At every point she's going to have to pay attention and she's going to have to eliminate something. And that's what she's avoiding.
Good life. Get the food pyramid. I don't think I'll be happy with food unless that's the thing, I try to be. It's like food shouldn't make me happy, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
You can enjoy food, but I do think, especially since she's broken up with BB, and obviously there was a disintegration to that relationship that led up to their breakup, you shouldn't search for your only happiness in food. And if you are, you need to find something else.
Well, extreme diets haven't been successful for me. Yeah, I've heard.
She says, coming off an OMAD binge of one day.
This is exhausting. I don't want to be bothered.
She doesn't want to talk about it because she doesn't have a good answer, but she's on live and she wants to make the money.
I'm just like a brat right now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I do a meal prep and food plan. I change it like 5 times a week.
Then for the record, if you change it 5 times a week, you are neither prepping nor food planning. Food planning means you stick to a plan. Food prepping means you eat the same food for X amount of days. You can prep 3 meals, have them in the freezer, take out a different meal every day so that you're rotating meals so you don't get bored. But if you're changing 5 times a week, you ain't following either of those things.
I don't even want to think about food for a while. Till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow.
Weight loss challenge. I don't know if I could do one. I'd have to be able to do the challenge myself, wouldn't I?
Well, who else? It's your body. I don't understand what she means by that. Does she mean she couldn't do it as part of a community? You can, of course, join a community, but I think with her history and with how inconsistent she is, no community could be supportive of how she chooses to act. And I think right now she's thinking of the swarm thing.
You know, I don't want to be like somebody who didn't do the challenge. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory manner towards that person. I understand.
She said this in her live chat, and I didn't understand what she means as that person. Is she talking about swan here? That's the only challenge I think she's done. But the way she's speaking, when she said, I don't want to be the person who didn't do the challenge, and I don't want to be derogatory. Is she talking about Ayala? I mean, I don't know who she's referring to, because Swarmnormus stands by what he believes in, and he does the stuff. And she seems to be talking about somebody else. Was there somebody recently, one of the other big mukbangers, one of the other big YouTubers, did they do a challenge recently?
Understand why they aren't able to do it or didn't succeed, because it's hard.
Who didn't succeed?
You know, keto, yeah. Lost 108 pounds and having a full life is when I can maintain. That's the thing. Once you feel good, you know.
Yeah, and that good feeling comes sooner than you think. But to say it's never going to be a struggle, it's just, there's no plan out there that will never be a struggle, because you like to eat off plan, and you have to be able to not always succeed, but to take that.
Steven, that's the thing, when you're doing like mukbangs for a living, it's like you feel kind of like pressured.
No,
you know what I mean?
Don't give me that. It's not our fault. You are choosing to do mukbangs as a living. You could choose to do weight loss.
To keep eating that way. I do want to lose weight.
But not
I don't know if
enough.
it's like the addiction talking, but it's like sometimes I feel like I just don't care.
It's 100% the addiction talking, and the fact that you are a little bit of a brat a lot, and you don't like listening to people and taking their advice.
Like, I just want to eat into oblivion, and I like tell myself like messed up shit, like I don't want to live to be 80 anyway. And
you're not
like,
going to. And to be clear, as horrible as this is, even if she loses the weight, she's probably not going to, because obesity damages you your entire life. Even as a thinner person, I've done things to my body that I didn't recover. My knees are shot because my joints are shot because I was heavy. There are things, and like her lungs are not going to recover. 80 is a long shot.
I don't want to die. It's like I'm like the heaviest I've been in a while. So
in a while.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Addiction sometimes just seems better than life.
I'm sure I believe that. I'm sure it would be because it's an easier life, not physically, but if you were to take away the part that says you shouldn't be this way, and all the emotional strain that goes around wanting to eat a way that you're not supposed to, I'm sure it's easier in that regard to be like, fuck off, I don't want to deal with it. I'm sure it is. Like, I believe her when she says this.
Dietitian, yeah, I have looked into it, but I never followed through with it.
And that's the thing, like, I want help. Here's some help. I don't want that help. Well, try this one. I was going to, but I couldn't be bothered. Well, she avoids it because she doesn't want answers that she doesn't want to hear. And until you're willing to commit and help yourself, no one can help you.
Only home-cooked meals.
Yeah.
Start focusing on doing things. Yeah, I really need to think of things I want to do.
I wonder if this is where today she uploaded a video driving around her hometown and going to places. And on one hand, yes, you're getting out the house, but on the other hand, if you're driving somewhere, you're going to have eaten. Whether she filmed it or whether she didn't, I don't know. But she is going to have eaten somewhere.
In travel, though, it's like, just think of food. Like, what food am I going to eat there? You know?
Not
like,
where am I going to go?
Food.
Not what can I see there?
I can't stop thinking. God. So annoying.
This is just you having a tantrum, and frankly, I don't have a lot of patience for it. I can't stop thinking. No, that's not it.
So, I just wanted to vent, because that's what I go through all the time. Even though I don't have to, I just deny it a lot of the time.
This is genuinely her being a child. Like, how many times if you've got nieces or nephews and they're like, oh, I don't know, I just didn't want to. That's what she's doing right now.
Where do you purchase the Mary Ruth? Oh, on their website. It's expensive.
Yeah. You could get a cheap multivitamin that would have the same benefit for you with all the other crap you eat, and you could save the money, but you won't.
I'm so deflated. Yeah, I feel defeated. Do you have any friends? I do have friends, yes.
What a question. And also, the only friends she's ever mentioned on here are Pete and Rena. We haven't heard about Rena for a while.
I have friends. I have a lot of friends.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry, but she isolates herself a lot, and Rena invited her and she didn't even turn up. We don't see her a lot. She might have some friends. She doesn't have that many. Frankly, I don't know where the group she's going to Dominican Republic with has appeared from.
Isolate myself. I like being isolated. I don't know. It's like I feel like I don't have any mental energy to socialize. Maybe that's what it is. It's not anything against my friends. Obviously, I love my friends.
It's that she has a mirror. She sees herself. And even though she doesn't want to take responsibility, like the worse she feels in her body, and she is embarrassed by how she looks. She's shown that before. The worse she feels in her body, the less she wants to be out with people. And when you go and see friends and you feel ashamed of yourself, it's so much worse. And it's the reason she couldn't enjoy the bachelorette party. Because you remember the whole build-up for that, when she was looking for a dress, and then she was like, oh, I found this lovely dress and I'll lose 20 pounds to fit into it. And then she didn't lose 20 pounds to fit into it, and she had to scramble around trying to find one. She found one in like Walmart or some equivalent, and she didn't feel good. She felt frumpy. She looked a bit frumpy. And she spent, like, in the limo there, she went and sat by the driver, and she spent the rest of the night kind of in a corner. Like, how you feel about yourself affects how you interact with people. How you interact with people affects your enjoyment. So she just doesn't want to interact with people.
It's almost like when you're sick and you just want to be alone. You know what I mean?
You are sick.
It kind of feels like
that's why you want to be
alone.
alone.
Perpetually sick. So, and I think this rash is caused by my shitty diet. It must be. They don't know what it is. They're just like, I don't know. It's just a rash. It's just some random inflammation. I don't think I should like accept help from anybody right now. Like, not like, I don't want it to be like another swollen arm situation. So I need to like get things in under control.
And I agree that would be a bad idea. I think she made that really public, hoping accountability would help her, and accountability doesn't help her because she's not willing to commit to it, and she has these tantrums. But because she won't take it off of YouTube, because she's earning money off YouTube, and even after that rant, the next video she had was a weigh-in. Like, she's willing to cash in on it to the expense of the rest of her life. So she can't accept help online because she made a fool of herself. She won't accept it offline. Like, what does she have left? Commit it to it yourself, because you're the only one right now you're allowing to make that decision.
A little better first, probably. You know what I mean? So maybe take baby steps. Yeah, I need to do the baby steps thing, but I have to commit to something, right? Because I always go back to just wanting to stay in my comfortable zone,
Yeah.
like I said, and just eat and not care about being big, and just embracing it to, I don't want these health problems, and I want to be healthy.
If you're choosing to eat, you're also choosing the health problems. If you're choosing to fix the health problems, part of that is choosing not to eat. She seems to think, well, just being like, I'm tired and refusing to make a choice is an option. But no, in refusing, you are choosing to have a worse quality of life.
And yeah.
That's where I cut it off, because that's the point her internet shut down. But she had another live stream. Most of it wasn't relevant, so I'm not going into it here. That's pretty much where she is at the moment, you guys. Like, until she's willing to commit to something, it's not going to change. But she has an excuse for everything she's told might help her. And then she dares to stand there and be like, I'm so confused. And the answer isn't that she's confused. It's that she doesn't want to follow any plan that means she can't eat the way she wants to eat. And no plan can be successful if she continues to eat that way. And that's where she's stuck right now. And either something needs to come along and scare her with her health big enough to make a change, which we thought we were there at the beginning of the year when she started having all these lung problems. and when she had a hysterectomy and all of that. And then when she planned this holiday to the Dominican Republic, having to publicly be on a plane, and this goes into the talk she was having about how she doesn't want to be with her friends, if those friends do in fact exist, because she's embarrassed. I thought the pressure of having to publicly fit into somewhere that's going to be difficult would be enough to keep her on track for now. And she hasn't, as amazing as it seems, she hasn't hit her rock bottom yet. I don't know how much deeper she can go, but everyone has a point. And she thinks she's hit that point a lot, but apparently she hasn't yet. So stick your thoughts down below. I'm not sure what else to say about it at this point. I mean, I guess we'll see how she changes her mind for her next video. I haven't seen today's yet. I'll go and watch them. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.